Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, DEI ruling appealed. Also, mocking a dead enemy. And Tommy Tuberville is challenged on calling Islam a cult.
Inconceivable! You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Cult. I don't even think he knows what that really means. All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and as always, I'm joined by Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and Josh Moon, columnist at APR and world-famous investigative reporter.
World famous, I like it.
World
I like
famous.
Yeah, there's a lot of people read your stuff, man. You know, there's no doubt about that. This week's Christmas for a lot of people, and we want to wish everybody a happy Christmas and enjoy the season of giving, and the spirit of love may abound.
Yes, we hope so.
I can tell you where the spirit of love is anything but abounding, and that is with our erstwhile Tommy Tuberville, coach, as he likes to be called as a grown man. And he has come out again and doubled down on his hatred for Islam. He's calling Islam a cult. He is called to deport Islamic citizens of this country. And he has now been designated an anti-Muslim extremist. And I think that designation fits his rhetoric.
It absolutely does. He's now become the first senator to be labeled an anti-Muslim extremist. How proud has the state got to be of that?
And he's very proud of it, Josh.
Yeah.
Social media that he wears this hatred as a badge of honor. Now, I don't think he really understands the Muslim faith at all, but I think he does understand racism and hate. I think he understands that perfectly. You know, for a guy that whose career was made on the backs of black men, he sure has shown his colors as my interpretation, a racist Islamophobe. But again, that's my opinion.
Well, you know, I would say, first of all, I would bet that over the course of his coaching career, he had a number of players who probably practiced Islam and were Muslim, and that they were vital parts of his team and were good men, all of them. Yeah, you're right. And the thing about Tommy Tuberville is I'm not sure that he has any real specific hardline beliefs about anything aside from what's best for helping Tommy Tuberville. And I think this is another in a long line of things that he does simply to hide the fact that he has no idea really how to govern, and he has no willpower whatsoever to go in and make himself a better senator, a better servant of the public, a better person to for young people to aspire to. He has no desire whatsoever for people to make the lives of the folks of this state better. And that I think is far more troubling than just the stupid, ignorant rhetoric that he has espoused numerous times now. I mean, it's not just this; it's the stuff about reparations a while back, and the stuff about immigration. And now we've gotten to this, and he really has, with the stuff that he's talked about with these poor kids up at the School of Islam in Homewood. He's put those kids in some danger, I would say. I mean, he's really kind of shined the spotlight on them and called this school that they're at. He's cast it in a light that makes people suspect them of some sort of nefarious acts. And I would say that in this day and age, when you do that, you take a real risk of putting some people in danger. And I don't think he cares. And that is that is probably the most, troubling and disappointing thing, that so many people in this state have elected this guy and are willing to elect him again to be the governor. When this is the way he behaves, it's really, really bothersome to me.
Well, and while you see, and I understand what you're saying about his policies, that he has none.
Mm-hmm.
But if you espouse this type of hate, doesn't there have to be some modicum of hate in your heart, or is this all performative? I mean, it's hard for me to believe it's just performative.
But I mean, a lot of this is performative. This started over at not establishing a school, but just moving a school from one location to another, get permission. He has nothing else to talk about. He's presented no policies. He's presented no platforms. All he's doing is presenting hatred.
But does he really think the people of Alabama are that hateful? But I want to move on. Doug Jones responded in an article written over at APR, and he once again emphasized his campaign promise to make Alabama a big table. It comes from a song by the Highway Women, and a big table where everybody has a seat at the table. Even if we disagree, we come together and work for the betterment of Alabama. Josh, you were at that event, and Jones just wants to bring people together, and he does have a detailed plan for Alabama.
Yeah, the thing about Doug is you're right. He has this desire to kind of bring people together. That's what he's always done. You look at his time in the Senate, and he worked with the other side. He listened to people. He talked to Republicans. He talked to the folks back home and tried to do things that he thought would make him a good senator, a good representative of them. And that's what he'll do as governor. He's already talked about a lot of this stuff, and he's the anti-Tuberville. He's gonna get in. He's gonna work. He's gonna do things that he thinks is best. And we had him on our podcast this week, Alabama Politics this week, and we talked to him. And I said, I identified myself as a pro-business, pro-worker, pro-military progressive. And I said, that's why I think you and I relate well to each other. And he said, yeah. And that's basically who Doug is, he thinks that we can all come together. We can all work together, and we can do things that benefits workers, that benefits business, that benefits the least of us, and still have ourselves a very well functioning state that does not focus on hating each other and our differences. And I think, wouldn't it